right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, let's start out with a power story. And to me, this is probably the most impressive story of the video and probably one of the most impressive things I've seen this week. Julius Maddox benching 750 pounds. Now, obviously, this isn't the first time he's touched this amount of weight. He's done this before. In fact, his current raw bench press world record, which he still holds, is 350 kgs or 770 pounds. So this 750-pound bench press that you're watching right now is only 20 pounds under the current world record, which was set by Julius himself. Now, the impressive thing about this lift, number one, the fact that it's 750 pounds. Number two, the speed and the ease at which Julius lifts this amount of weight. This was one of the most impressive 700-plus pound bench presses I've ever seen from a standpoint of how easy Julius made this lift look. A really impressive amount of control, really, when he's lowering the bar to his chest. He pauses it there for a second and just explodes up. I continue to be extremely impressed with what Julius has been able to do over the past couple of weeks. We've seen the 815, 820-pound static hold that he did. He did like a triple with 710 pounds. So he's getting closer and closer to his ultimate goal, which is that 800-pound bench press. Of course, back in June of last year, you saw him attempt it, but they misloaded the bar, and for whatever reason, he didn't get the lift. Now, again, Julius hasn't officially announced when he's going to be attempting that 800 again. We do know that he is going to attempt it again. But my spidey senses are tingling here that we're going to see him attempt it really soon because pretty much the past couple weeks, he's been consistently posting what seems to be him peaking for a lift, him peaking for a meet, and I think we're going to see this attempt relatively soon. So I want to keep the attention on Julius Maddox here because I think we're going to see that 800-pound attempt maybe come unannounced and maybe come pretty soon in the near future. But again, thumbs up and positive vibes for Julius Maddox if you think he's going to get that 800. The way that 750 moved, it's just, he's a master of the bench press. I've never seen someone with that much ease bench 750 pounds raw. It's really just insane what Julius has been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. Now, next up in the news, another extremely impressive PR, but on a different lift. Larry Wheels, sticking true to his brand of PR, he did another deadlift PR of 855 pounds, 387 kilograms for 3 reps for an all-time PR for Larry. And Larry is another guy. He's like Julius, but Julius is a little bit more of a bench press specialist. What impresses me about Larry is he really does it all. He's done so many different collabs with arm wrestlers, collab with Thor, so many different styles of training between arm wrestling, strongman, bodybuilding, powerlifting. In the midst of all this, he's still able to PR on the deadlift like this for a triple. And I think that's really what makes Larry the star that he's become, is he's able to wear so many different hats, but at the same time, he's able to excel at almost everything he does. He excels at arm wrestling to an extent. He excels at powerlifting. He does well in strongman at certain lifts. He built a reasonably impressive bodybuilding physique, so he's kind of a jack of all trades and a master of several, going against the grain a little bit in terms of that expression. So shout out to Larry, as always, very impressive. Now, next up in the news, another physique update here from Blessing Awodibu. As you guys know, Blessing is preparing for his professional debut, preparing for the Indy Pro, which is going to be coming up in May. And Blessing is a guy that I'm following closely on his road to his pro debut because I think it's going to be one of the exciting stories to kick off the bodybuilding season in May. And he posted this back shot, kind of a back relaxed pose and a back double bicep. And again, I've said this before, but one of the things that I think is impressive about Blessing is his back development, specifically just the density of his back and the V-taper that he has. Super wide back, pretty small waist for a guy of Blessing size. I believe the last time he gave us a weight update, he was like close to 290 pounds, 287 pounds. So at the body weight that he's at, he's got a pretty good condition for that size. And he's been able to maintain a pretty good shape with that size as well. And even though we got to wait like 4 months until that Indy Pro, I think we're probably going to see some more competitors announce that they're doing that show in the coming months. And we'll have a little bit more to talk about in regards to that. But because there is such a long period of time with no shows, I think you're going to see a lot of people that want to qualify for the Olympia jump in the first opportunity they get to compete because, you know, the uncertainty of whether or not they're going to be able to compete before the Olympia and qualify. I think you might see a lot of guys jump in this Indy Pro because you've got the whole beginning of the year up until May, no opportunities for a men's open bodybuilder to qualify or earn points for the Olympia. Now, next up, a word from our sponsors, Built Bar. These sponsorships help out a lot because we're really not going to have a whole lot of bodybuilding news. I'm going to be posting less frequently in the coming weeks. So that's why I'm doing these sponsorships. They really help out the channel because I'm posting less. So it would mean the world to me if you guys see a sponsorship or a product that you like, click the link, check it out, try it. If not, that's fine too. Without further ado, here's a word from our sponsors. All right, guys, today's video is sponsored by Built Bar. Now, I was pretty excited for this sponsorship because Built Bar is not your average protein bar. Even far before they ever offered to sponsor a video, I tried this a couple years back, and they're a really unique, really flavorful bar. And the unique flavors are really what attracted me to this brand initially. They've got flavors like orange. That's a flavor I remember trying a few years ago. Mint brownie, peanut butter brownie. I already ate all the peanut butter ones out of there. Banana nut bread really surprised me. That was pretty good. Caramel brownie, carrot cake, cherry barcia, coconut almond, coconut cookies and cream, double chocolate, raspberry, salted caramel, toffee, almond, and more flavors. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsoring the video. Even the fruity flavors mixed with chocolate that you might not expect to be good really impress me. And every one of these flavored bars is under 200 calories, and most of them are in the 17 to 20 grams of protein range. So if you want to try one of the 18 flavors of Built Bar, click the link below. And if you want to help support the channel, click the link below because these sponsorships help out a great deal. So give Built Bar a try. You won't regret it. Now, next up in the news, a physique update from Jeremey Buendia. We haven't really seen much from Jeremey Buendia in the way of physique updates. I've actually had a lot of you guys that are men's physique fans asking me why Jeremey didn't compete in the Olympia, asking me where Jeremey's at. So Jeremey does have quite a few fans out there wondering what's going on with him. And he posted this physique update with the caption, "Y'all ready?" potentially hinting at a comeback. And I noticed if you look in the comments of that post, a lot of other men's physique guys are commenting and a lot of people hinting at him switching over to classic physique. He's kind of doing a vacuum pose there, but not really, with the front double bicep pose. And I know that he's hinted in the past about switching over to classic physique, and a lot of men's physique guys have made that switch to classic physique. One of the more successful ones being Logan Franklin, who also commented that post. Logan taking top 10 at this year's Classic Physique Mr. Olympia after transitioning over from men's physique. So Logan was able to do it pretty impressively. So my question to you guys in the comment section below, do you think Jeremey Buendia is another guy, multiple-time men's physique Olympia winner? Keep in mind, Logan Franklin never won the men's physique Olympia. He was a pretty high placer and he won some pretty good shows, but Jeremey Buendia being a guy that actually won the Olympia in that division, do you think he stands a good chance of crossing over to classic physique and doing well in that division? Do you think his physique would be better suited for classic or men's open? Should he just stay in men's open, or would you like to see Jeremey in classic? I think a good crossover is always exciting, and I think Jeremey could probably do it. Now, speaking of Logan, I wanted to show you guys Logan's latest physique update and just showing Logan has a little bit of a different structure than Jeremey Buendia, which makes him a little bit more, I think Logan is a little bit better suited for classic than Jeremey is. And he says he's grinding his ass off for his dream, currently weighing 233 pounds fasted and trying to put all this food to good use. Thanks to my trainer, Cash Goodry, for making sure the pumps are real. So I wanted to show some of these physique updates from Logan because he's significantly heavier in these updates post-Olympia than he was at the Olympia. I believe he's up something close to the 15 to 20 pounds range from what he weighed on stage at the Olympia. So he looks a lot fuller and a lot rounder in the physique updates that he's posted post-Olympia. And keep in mind, Logan has room to come in bigger at the Olympia to meet his weight restriction. So the question is, how much bigger could Logan get, and would he look better if he looked closer to this physique on the Olympia stage? Would he have placed higher than he did? Now, I wanted to bring your attention to another guy. I'm a huge fan of this guy's physique. He actually was beaten by Logan by one placing. This guy was 10th at the Olympia in classic physique. Deontrai Campbell, very impressive classic physique bodybuilder. Narrowly edged out by Logan Franklin, but I think Deontrai has a very bright future in classic physique. This front double bicep with a vacuum pose, one of my favorite shots of his. He's got a pretty different physique from Logan, but I think he's really well suited for classic physique, and I think in the future you're going to see some pretty big things from Deontrai Campbell. To me, he looked a little bit flat on the Olympia stage, so I think he could fill out, maybe put on a little bit more size, and he could be really competitive in this division, so I'm excited to see what he's able to do in the future. Now, the final story I want to talk about here is Shaun Clarida switching to men's open bodybuilding. Now, This was an interesting story. So Shaun Clarida, obviously, he was the winner of the 212 category at the 2020 Mr. Olympia, arguably one of the most improved bodybuilders of the entire show, regardless of division, and arguably one of the most impressive packages on the Olympia stage, again, regardless of division. I think Shaun Clarida this year was extraordinarily impressive. So this was an interview done on barbend.com in article form, interviewed and written by Roger Lockridge. So this was a pretty good interview, and one of the questions that was asked, there were a couple questions asked about the men's open bodybuilding lineup, but towards the end of the article, one of the questions is, have you ever thought about doing an open show to see where you would stack up? And Shaun responds, I have mentioned to a few people privately, but never someone like yourself, I guess referring to the fact this guy is a media guy. I will do an open show someday. So he confirms he will switch to open at some point, or at least do an open show. And then the interviewer asks, can I put that on the record? And he says, yes, you can. I haven't said when or where or anything like that, but I would love to do an open show someday. Absolutely. So someday before Shaun Clarida retires from competing, we will see him on an open stage, and Shaun Clarida responds and says yes. So that to me is extremely fascinating if you consider the fact that a lot of 212 bodybuilders that have switched to men's open have been extremely successful. Keep in mind, Heidi Chupin, he came over from 212. William Bonac started out as a 212 bodybuilder. Flex Lewis intended to make his switch from 212 to men's open at this year's Olympia because of an injury he had to pull out. 212 bodybuilders do good in men's open. And you might ask why, what would the incentive be for someone who's winning in 212 to switch to men's open? And the incentive would be prize money. The prize money at the Olympia, I believe it's a 10 times difference. If you win the men's open Olympia, you get paid about 10 times more than you would get for winning the 212 Olympia. And I think if you just place top 6 in men's open, you would still make more than winning the 212 Olympia, or top 5 rather. So there's really a rather large incentive for Shaun to switch over, and I, for one, I would love to see it, but let me know in the comment section below if you would love to see it and how you think Shaun would stack up in men's open bodybuilding. Let me know in the comment section below. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you again to our sponsors at Built Bar. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.